who is nice to be with us today.
Sage.
Blessings.
Blessings.
In the beginning of 2016, I was invited to my first Utah Pacific Islander Civic Engagement Coalition meeting, held at that time NTAS, National Italian American Society. Building. Hilala knew that I was involved in different things throughout the community and that I would appreciate being in a civically engaged space. That involvement soon developed into more than just a friendship over the years with Rita, but one that would jumpstart my civic engagement within the PI community. I started to learn about the underlying issues for Pacific Islanders in very real ways, spanning from the wellness of our people through healthcare, mental health, getting the vote out, GOTV efforts, environmental activism, and pushing for a complete census count. Rita was never shy about her passion to inform and provide spaces for our Pacific Islanders to be participatory agents of and for change. She oftentimes brought the immediacy to a number of issues and policy that our local and statewide agencies needed to address. Coincidentally, I recall a conversation her and I had within the halls of this Capitol behind me. At the Apex conference in 2016, as she had come to know, it was a lifelong dream of mine to serve the people of my city and communities in the decision-making process bodies of our state legislature. Her and I shared the desire to see more women run and subsequently hold elected office. She emphatically told me that my time to run was now. Summer of last year, a few leaders in the community approached me to run, Rita and Jake being integral in my decision to run, finally for the Utah House of Representatives. Her belief in me was unwavering, oftentimes believing in me more than I did for myself and seeing the potential of who I could become. Today and every day forward, I will honor her legacy as a woman of color, actively engaged in supporting and uplifting all of our communities and subsequently the state of Utah. One thing I'd like to leave with each and every one of you here, as I can see there are many, it's evident that Margarita's love for the community is widespread. The outpouring, love and support and dismay of the news that came yesterday hit our community hard. But one thing I know for certain that Margarita would want me to share as she lived her life this way was to not be passive in our community. Do not be passive agents to the change that is needed for our communities as a whole. Be engaged. Even if next week the result that she would have wanted does not come to fruition, I implore you to look beyond that day, to think of ways that you can be participatory and engage actively in our communities, because that is the work that she would want us to do. Thank you so much.
Hello. Talofa. My name is Liz Owens, and Margarita is my friend, colleague, teacher, confidant, mentor, accomplice, and sister in this work. Angela Davis, who we shared a love for, has said, "You have to act as if it were possible to radically transform the world, and you have to do it all the time." Rita did this all the time, constantly and consistently. She used every method available to her, including co-founding and leading the Utah Pacific Islander Civic Engagement Coalition, running for office, managing campaigns, leading protests, writing grants, teaching, learning, collaborating, showing up, and of course, social media. Years ago, she left her job to change her career path for work dedicated to change. She sacrificed higher pay and status to start over again, and something she felt made a difference. Rita was fierce, brave, vibrant, loud, fun, powerful, energetic, hilarious, welcoming, creative, beautiful, unapologetic, caring, and loving, dedicated and committed, and so much more. And she didn't hold back, because the work she was doing to radically transform the world is so important. She was a great friend, advocate, organizer, activist, and lover of people. She was moved by injustice and always called to act. And she always answered that call with anger and compassion, hard work and strategy. Facebook posts and accountability and love and planning. She was a dreamer and a doer. I'm willing to bet that she had plans and dreams in the works with everyone who speaks. She should still be here, and if she were, she would tell you to not hold back, to support women of color, to move, to act, to vote now, today, to show up, knock doors, run for office, to support someone to run for office, join a cause, use your voice, your social media, your energy, your heart, your body, your mind. Sacrifice what you need to and fight. Fight for your community and fight every day like she did to radically transform the world.
Hello, my name is Sione Tuyasawa. I was a nephew to Margarita Satini. I love this woman very much. I'm very grateful for the blessing that I had to be able to know her, not only as an advocate and just a hard, she was a hard-ass working woman. That's what she was. And I just know, I was her designated driver. That was my role in her life. And it was an honor for me to be introduced to new places, to new people by this woman that I actually met, even though we were family, I met through church. She was such a loving woman. All of her advocacy, all of the work that she ever did, I know that it was, for her, it was to build a better world that she wanted her grandkids to live in. And there was no cause too big or too small for this woman to participate in, because she knew the value of every individual human being. And I know that for me, and I know for other people, even people here in this crowd, that she would get frustrated with us. She wanted so much to be done. She made plans like Liz mentioned. She was a dreamer in the fullest form. And I know that she got frustrated when people didn't match her energy or her commitment. But I also know that with her frustrations, with myself included, she never allowed that to get in the way of getting the work done. She was able to put things to the side, be able to realize that there are people that are suffering, people in need, people that need help. And that was our responsibility, hers included, to make sure that those people that needed help got the help that they needed. She was all about filling people's needs, and I know that she gave her life to this, and we're gathered here because she is no longer with us. But I know that it was my damn privilege to be able to know her, to call her family, but more importantly, she was such a great friend. And that's all I have to say, and I thank you for coming out tonight.
You know, I have to say that I'm reaching out to her closest crew, and there are so many who probably would consider themselves in that, but in the Pacific Islander community, I want to thank my brothers and sisters for suspending a bit of grief to pay tribute and honor your dear friend and your dear family member. I know it's asking a lot, so thank you. At this point, we're going to go ahead and hear from Amalia. Amalia, we'll have you come up now if you don't mind, and then after Amalia, we will hear from Vienna Paulo, and then Verona Sagato. So we'll go to that point. Thank you.
Inoke and my family, and anyone else, Ray, Sis, you over there, can you guys join us? And anyone else who would like to, anyone from Batonga, Pacifica, Oceania that would like to join us. You guys can go, yeah, so they can see you. Thank you so much. Second? Okay. If everyone can, please, let's all take a deep breath. Malo Folau, in our Tongan language, thank you for your journey. Thank you for coming here, sacrificing your time to be with us. Folau Margarita. We sweat and cry salt water, so we know that the ocean is really in our blood. Teresia Te Awa. Yesterday morning, a glorious morning, in which Margarita walked on, and she met with her mother and our ancestors. But beyond that, and on the side, I know, without a doubt, and if I can get a witness, she met there and embraced Dr. Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, Cesar Chavez, Queen Lili'ua Kalani, Nafanua, Efeli Hau'ofa, all of our ancestors. I come with you and I stand with you in our Tongan, in our Oceania ways. I don't come with you myself, but I stand with all of my family here, our Kainga Ohana here. So there are so many people from Seattle, all around the world who cannot be here, so you are here with us tonight. There is a proverb in the Tongan language. It says, "To e to'a, kai tu'u e to'a." I will teach you a little Tongan tonight. Does anyone know what a warrior is? Our warrior is our word for to'a. And that means when a warrior has fallen, another warrior rises in their place. And this is who Margarita was to us. When you walk on as a woman of Pacifica, you would like to have the honor in which she has with us. Amana wahine, wahine toa, a fefinei fonua. Someone who was of the land, and the land is all of us. Every part, a reflection of the ocean, and everything in between the sea. She was the most deadliest thing to be alive. Not a weapon, not a drone, but someone with a voice, with the truth. Someone who had strategies, as our brother Sione said, that you cannot silence her. She had strategies to get along with every type of person. And she understood she belonged to no one, and she belonged to everyone at the same time. Her calling was higher than this. It was the universe. But she knew that every little bit, just a very quick story. Sorry, I'm Tongan, she had a heart operation before. And her brother here, Sione, said, my name is Amalia, sorry. She was still texting about how she wanted 45 out on her bed. And that's what a warrior does, right? They have a little strength, but they do not lose sight of the cause. And that's why I say, in the spirit of Harriet Tubman, she knew where she was, and she knew where she was going. And so I just leave you with this tonight. I'm sorry, it's one of the civil rights poets, but I want to shout this out to Rose Park, to Glendale, Glen Watts, can you hear me? Inglewood, where she was born and bred, not born, but bred, Rose Park, Glendale. Mill Creek in the house. Samoa, Vava'u, Tonga, Niua, Moniua, Ewa, Samoa, Kukuila, Upolu, Savai, stand up. Marshall Islands, Viti, Papua New Guinea, West Papua. I call out the east side, all the people that had no color, that were every color to her. Please, we're calling on you. And as Margarita would say, ain't going nowhere until you come to. Ofalahiatu. Oh.
O ko whie tuko hapakatapu ki he tala malu o whonua. Kai uma'afo ki ai whanau eiki. Kai ata mo oku ke whai ai ki ileani. My name is Vienna Pau'u, and I am a Rita groupie. I met Rita about 7 years ago at an Angela Davis speech. She was here, and that was the first time I met Rita, and it was just interesting that Rita's energy matched Angela Davis's energy, and I knew on that day that I was going to fall in love with this woman. And when I got the news that she was no longer with us, I didn't believe it because she was just so much larger than life that I was like, no, Rita's not done yet. There's just so much work to be done. And if anything, it's her time is done, but the work is not done. And she's definitely left that with all of us. Like I said, I followed Rita around everywhere. And in these 7 years, there's just been so many different community events and different organizations that Rita had her hand in that I just wanted to be with her because, if I'm being honest, I wanted to be Rita. She had this passion and this fire about her and this ability to bring people together and then put her differences aside for the cause. About 2 years ago, there was a cause that I was extremely passionate about, and it had to do with the Me Too movement. And Rita, she picked it up as if it was her own cause. She was just as passionate about it as I was. She was just as engaged, and she organized within 3 days and had a full event ready to go with hundreds of people there, bringing them together on a cause and making what I felt like was important, making me feel important too. One thing too that I really loved and was impressed by with Rita was her ability, well, if anything aside from her abilities, but it was her infectious laugh. Yesterday, some friends and I, we were together and just listening to these old video clips of Rita singing, karaokeing, and then her laugh. And it was the oddest thing that a laugh could bring you to tears, and only Rita definitely could do that for me. I aspired to be as she was, unapologetic, and these are words that I see everybody using to describe her. Unapologetic, fierce, she was passionate, she was a beautiful woman, and she was a force to be reckoned with, and I think that's what I hope to be someday. To close, I just wanted to say a few words in Tongan. Si oto ofa ta'ahine Margarita. Kua motu loto hotakaume a mamai, o kuongo peauhu ai mawai. Kai neongo ia, koi eiki o kunotule au nio. Toka ta'ahine he ikai ngalo o ngahi ngawe. He neongo ai mapaki ai wha, ka oku kei alaha ho ulunganga. Tua eiki o wha.
Hi, I'm Verona Malna. I chair the Utah Asian and Pacific Islander Democratic Caucus. Rita was our vice chair. She served in this role for over 4 years. She was also my dear friend, accomplice, confidant, and sister. Her work and commitment to the caucus and all the communities she served will be felt for years to come. Margarita was a powerful voice in our community. She was a true leader. She was always looking out for the next generation of leaders. It was important to her that we were inclusive and that we were teaching others along the way. Rita and I served on several boards together and also worked on a few campaigns together. Rita would laugh and say, "I'm the bad cop and you're the good cop. People like you because you're nice." The truth is she wasn't the bad cop and I'm not the good cop. She was the braver one. She wasn't afraid. She was courageous and she spoke her truth always.
She spoke what was on her heart, and she never minced words. So it didn't matter if it was politically correct or if it was going to hurt your feelings. She spoke her truth, and she was unapologetically Margarita. She said whatever she wanted to say whenever she wanted to say it. She was an unapologetic woman of color, womanist and humanist. And that is why we are all here today, because we loved and admired that about her. Everything she did with the absolute best of intentions. She had the biggest heart and loved everyone. She often wondered if her work was enough and if there was more that she could do. Rita, if you can hear me, it was enough. You did enough work for generations to come, and we appreciate and love you so much. In honor of our dear friend and sister Margarita, I implore you to find your voice and to use it. Be actively engaged in your community. Raise the next generation of leaders to be good human beings and to speak their truth. On behalf of our entire caucus, I would like to say to the Satini family that we love you and we are here for you. We are no replacement for your Queen Rita, but we are here and we love you and support you. Thank you.
Ma Black and everybody else, also sister-in-law Amber, thank you for giving Pacific Islander voices the centering attention tonight. I would like to go ahead and share some remarks from Councilwoman Bev Weepy from Mill Creek. I'm sorry I'm not here to share my tribute for you, sis, as I'm waiting for my test results. Margarita was a force to be reckoned with from her days in entertainment to advocacy. She has always had a voice, a very unfiltered, sometimes humorous, and unapologetic voice. In the last decade, Margarita found where her voice was most impactful and stood steadfast in her true purpose of civic engagement. She went from running for city council in Cottonwood Heights to running Councilwoman Tally Bruce's and Councilman Jake Fitisimanu's campaigns in the same year. I always wondered what superpowers or level of sanity any one person could have to run 2 campaigns. Margarita could, and she did it all with a crazy smile. Margarita's advocacy engagement was active on all levels, from being in the trenches, knocking on doors, making calls, speaking before legislative committees, on the mic, at the booth, or in the march. She was highly respected by the PI community and many others for her passionate advocacy. She was selfless. She put her family first and loved them fiercely. She shared caring for her late mother with brother John Satini. Her children and her grandchildren were her headaches, but her heart. She was positive for many, even when she was battling with her own personal strife. Her laughter and positive energy was contagious, and you always knew when Margarita arrived. To your children, namesake, and grandchildren, please take note of the many lives Margarita has positively affected here tonight. There are many more who couldn't make it, but loved her so very much. She has paved a path for you to carry on her torch, and I hope she's inspired you to do so. A quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson: "The purpose of life is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, and to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well." Margarita, you did that. You made a difference in so many lives. Thank you for your selflessness and for mentoring others to continue your advocacy. I will miss you, your laughter, our late night chats, and gut-busting laughs about community, politics, and life. I'm so honored and blessed to have had you in my life for all these decades. I'm sure the reunion with your mom, your sister, and others gone too soon is something quite beautiful. Ofalahi atu, sis. See you on the other side. It's from Bev Weepy. As we close out the Pacific Islander section, we're honored to hear from Representative Karen Kwan, and we will close with John Satini and Lucia Satini, her brother and sister-in-law, before transitioning over to Ma Black and some other just important speakers. We're so glad you made the time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for being here and for loving Margarita. I am Representative Karen Kwan, and I'm standing with my colleague here, Representative Angela Romero. And as we stand in front of the People's House, I bring greetings and condolences from our legislative colleagues to you, and also especially to Margarita's family, especially her children and her grandchildren who her life revolved around. And forgive me for bringing my emotions into this speech, but I'm sad. I'm so sad. And I'm angry. I'm damn angry. Too many of us have been taken. Our loved ones have been taken by this disease, and we've lost so many of our loved ones this year. But it's not about me. It's not about us. It's not about centering our pain, because Margarita, she didn't center her own pain. She wouldn't want us to center our pain, and she wouldn't want us to center us. She would want us to center each other and our communities and our families. Margarita was indeed a force in our communities, and for me, she was a beacon of what is right and what is good. And I didn't always agree with her. I think some of you know what I mean there. I remember times when I would dare to disagree with her, and I'd say, yeah, but, and she'd interrupt me and she'd say, no buts, no buts. Y'all know. And she would then school me with her brilliance. And I would learn once again what it means to live unapologetically. You hear this word over and over again because her fierceness, her strength, her love, that's who Margarita, I cannot say was. That's who Margarita is in my heart, and I'm sure in the hearts of so many of us. And I thank you, family, to her family, for sharing her with us. She spent so much of her time for the betterment of our communities that the best way I know how to honor Margarita is to live like she did. To live with strength, with conviction, and with love. That we continue to take care of one another. That we continue to find pockets of joy in all of this despair. That we continue to continue our work in equity and in justice. And I'm going to speak right now to the BIPOC allies. I'm going to give you an invitation, although you don't need my invitation. You don't need my permission for this. I'm going to encourage you to continue to speak out against toxic systems, to see when it's wrong, and to stand up for what's right. You don't need our permission. You don't need our invitation. But as Margarita pushed me and so many of us in our communities to be better and do more, I'm going to encourage our allies to do the same. I'm going to also encourage all of us to continue her work in civic engagement. Don't forget to vote. Vote, 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 vote. And that we all create these communities of caring, as she did with everyone around her. It didn't matter who you were. You felt valued, you felt seen, and you felt loved by Margarita. Rest in love, Margarita. Rest in peace. Send love to you all.
Now we're going to hear from John, Margarita's brother, and also looks like nephew too.
Yep. Stanford.
First off, I want to thank our Creator God for blessing me with a sister like Margarita, my family, my son right here, who helped her out a lot too as well. I also want to thank you guys, the people who took your time to come here and show her love. I also want to thank those who organized this. We love you guys and for your efforts. Also the media too, you guys are here. But I want to just thank all you guys. In the Tongan way, there's a matriarch system. Where the women are up here. So, and if you're a brother, you respect your sister. I haven't treated my little sister, she's gone already, but my little sister would be treated like a big sister too. That's the kind of respect. There was 4 things that we really try to focus on when we respect our sister as a brother. 1, leave them alone. Don't bother them. 2, answer the call. If they need your help, go over there and help. 110%. 3, respect them. Don't ever speak any rudeness towards them, and don't act any way towards them either. And 4, protect them with your life. And with that, as her brother, she was with so many organizations, carried so many titles, so many different accolades. But to me, her highest title was sister. To my nephew, auntie, and mother. And then to mother too, because our matriarch system, that's what we grew up on, and that's what we believe. I remember when I would talk to her about the way she pushed, all the different things that help people in different situations. She'd be at rally speaking. I said, why you do this? I was like, Rita, how come you do this? And she said, because that's us. That's you. That's me. That's us. And I know it's true. And one thing about her, and you'll learn, is truth. She's very truthful and straightforward. There's 2 things about truth that you learn when you hang out with someone like Margarita. That sometimes it's hard to take, and she's the one telling me, and sometimes it's hard for me to tell to her the truth, because I was a little scared. But sometimes, in a sense though, in a way, sometimes you are a little hesitant to tell someone the truth because you're scared you might hurt their feelings. But with Margarita, you learn that truth is the fire that forges character. That's what makes you who you are, the strength. That gives you the liberation to become someone who you're supposed to be. It's truth. The reason why is because you can't fight truth. She was straight up. If you wanted to hang out with her, you had to be a straight up kind of person. You were either in or out. There was no half stepping with her. And she made it known. And she didn't let no one dictate who she should be, what she should say, how she should dress, who she should love. She was Margarita Satini. And she loved all you guys. When we would talk in private, just me and her going out, we'd go out, grab something to eat, she always expressed how much she loved you guys. She didn't even know the people. She just knew they were people. That's all they needed to be. And she knew that you guys were perfect at being human beings. And so with that, I just want to thank you guys for supporting her. And we love and miss her. Our hearts are so heavy right now in my family. We've been crying all day, all night. The kids too, together, sharing stories, thinking about her impact. She would ask that too. Man, I wonder if I've ever made an impact. If I touched someone, if I changed someone's heart, or someone felt loved by something maybe I did. Looking around, I think it's safe to say she did. We love you, Margarita. We love you so much. And like they said earlier, there will be another woman warrior to rise. There's lots of them around here. I see you guys. Thank you.
Malolele, my fellow young people, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Satini, and I am Margarita's sister-in-law. But she was more than that to me. I am here to show respect to her and to all of you for being here tonight. Firstly, I should like to sincerely thank the organizers of tonight's Vigil for Margarita Satini. Ma Black, thank you for creating this beautiful space tonight. And for Amber De La Higgs for organizing. I'm grateful for the many that have worked by her side. I worked closely with her through the many years and got to know many of you due to the nature of our work. We currently was working on the COVID-19 Community Partnership Project through the Utah Pacific Islander Health Coalition. Our team worked tirelessly along with her. Tonight has been beautiful to share this brief moment of where her focus, passion, and purpose was. We're grateful for the words that were shared tonight and for all of you taking the time to honor her. Lita. Na e o mai koe, ki he mamani, ke whakahoko, ai palani whakaofa, ai ta mai he wani. Ko ko lava ho whatongia. O ko ato ai, whakamalo, mo e ofalahi ki ata koe. Malo.
There was no time to say goodbye. I lost a friend. We lost so much. I'm gonna miss you so much, Margarita. Mi hermana. The Fokua, like you called me once. While we are mourning your loss, others are rejoicing to meet you. Margarita, you are the kind of woman that I was proud to stand by. I was so proud to call you my friend. When people ask me, do you know Margarita Satini? It was a breath like of fresh air. and I made sure to honor her name every time I talk about her. I'm going to miss you so much, Margarita. I'm gonna miss our conversations. I'm gonna miss us sharing pictures of our grandkids, talking about how funny they were, bragging and saying, oh, look how cute. You love your grandkids so much, and you always share that with me. I thank you for that. You always made me feel like I could do things, and you always pushed me to do things. Even when I said, I'm not qualified, I don't know how to do that, you were always telling me, yes, you can. Thanks to you, I understand why is it so important to be involved and to do civic engagement. You got it, and you made it fun. Margarita was the kind of woman that you would be proud to go to war with, to stand at a protest, or to march up this street like we did many times. I'm gonna miss you so much, sister. I know you're in a beautiful place tonight with your mom.
Black, and thank you everybody for braving a little bit of the cold, but how beautiful in thinking about the fire and the sunlight that she brought in as we go into the sunset. I'd like to invite Lex Scott to come up and speak, after which we will hear some words from Tally, Bruce, and then we will hear from Amber, sister-in-law to Burke, and then we will close out by asking AJ to come. Or excuse me, yeah, AJ will come up and join anybody who would like to join in a hymn that he will begin to lead. And then we will follow that up with a prayer by Councilman Jacob Fatisimanu from West Valley City. So if we could hear from Lex Scott, then Tally Bruce, that would get us up to Amber. Thank you.
To the Pacific Islander community from Black Lives Matter, our hearts are with you tonight. We loved Margarita so much. Margarita, with confidence, because she was intelligent, beautiful, and capable. I was so impressed with her from the moment that I had the honor to meet her. I was able to sit on a lot of panels with her. We lived in the same neighborhood, so we'd run into each other at the grocery store, and we would absolutely talk smack about Cottonwood Heights Police Department. She called me one day and she said Cottonwood Heights Police Department had come to her house to profile her family over 70 times. And so I went to meet with the chief of police of Cottonwood Heights and the mayor of Cottonwood Heights, and they looked me in the face and said, it's not about race. And that's when I knew we had a serious problem with Cottonwood Heights Police Department. She never stopped fighting them. She refused to remain silent. For every marginalized group, she stood up. She stood tall. She was fierce. What a loss. What a loss to all of us. She was just here. It doesn't seem real, does it? She was the best of all of us. 2020 is the worst. 2020 just took our best. You can never replace her. You can't come close to it. To her family, thank you for sharing her with us. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. And Margarita, we will absolutely keep fighting.
Bruce. I too am a Vigil groupie. I love that woman with my heart and my soul. And I was so honored to call her a dear, dear friend. I'm a city councilwoman in that little city that Les keeps referring to. Cottonwood Heights. And Les is spot on about the police there. And I pray to God that I can be justice for her.
All right, y'all. So I actually have to leave, but let me give you a little quick thought about Margarita and just like I mean, so many things that I have spoken at and prayed at and whatever. You know, Margarita's been there, and so many of the pictures that you've seen of her recently. She's holding a Black Lives Matter sign, banner, and that's what it's all about. It's about everybody standing up for everybody else, because everybody deserves to have us recognize them and our relationship to them. At the last Black Lives Matter rally that I was at with her at Cottonwood Heights, she spoke, and I just remember thinking, oh wow, she's gonna like lay it down. Anyway, she got up there, and her speech, I don't know if anybody has it recorded, but her speech was like, it was really appealing because she knew her audience, because that audience there was a lot of Blue Lives Matter people, a lot of pro-Trump people that were listening, but she knew her audience, and they were there, and she said some things that I think that that I hope that some people opened their hearts and had some empathy, sympathy to what she had to say. Anyway, I don't know. Margarita is a wonderful person, and it's up to us to continue on with her fight, her struggle that she advocated for all the people. Like, we have to honor her and all of those other human rights advocates by engaging, right? Voting, engaging, doing the thing, sticking up, marching, going to the speaking before legislature, doing things like that. So anyway, love y'all. Bye.